Hey guys, what's up? Right here, I have a Gigabyte Radeon RX 480 8GB graphics card. If you don't know, or haven't heard of it, the 480 is just the more popular 580, but older. Which is weird because the 580 has become so much more popular than its 400 series counterpart, despite being just an overclocked version. But the RX 580 is like everyone's go-to card right now, the go-to budget card, the great used card, everyone should buy it. But this is the 480. And that's what I have. I don't actually have the 580 version of this right now. I had a 590. We did a video on that. But this is the 480. I paid $50 for this card. So, in terms of it should perform, and that's what we're going to figure out in this video, similar to a 580. I will do another video probably following comparing it to the 580, although it's pretty similar. You could probably even overclock this to the 580 speeds. For $50. That seems like an insane deal. But this is the Gigabyte dual fan version, which, again, I've said this about the 590. I didn't really like it from the beginning and on paper, but when I actually held it, this thing is tiny, it's adorable, and I love it. And I actually use it as a test GPU because it's small and easy to work with. It's got one 8-pin connector. It's just a small, easy to work with GPU, and I'm excited to do some testing with it. So again, the 480 is just it should theoretically be just a downclocked 580, and for $50, these things go used for about $100 to $150 on eBay or wherever you're gonna buy it from. I got this used for $50, and it works. It works fully. I've tested it. I'm excited to go through the numbers and through the benchmarks and stuff. But this is for $50. That's awesome. But I'm going to be judging the card in terms of final verdict, all that stuff. I'm going to judge the card as if I paid $80 for it, because that's about the price if you were to find an RX 480, and they're actually harder to find than the 580s. The 580s became so popular, especially with the mining and all that stuff happening. The 580 is one of the most efficient cards for the money, etc. You see them everywhere. The 480 is not as, easy to find, but if you found one, I would expect you to pay $70 to $80. So, in terms of if I spend $80 on this, would I be happy with the performance? And that's what we're going to figure out in this video, so let's get right into the gaming benchmarks. Alright guys, so our first game takes us to COD Warzone. As usual, this game is terrible, I hate it so much, but I do test it because a lot of people like to play it because I believe it is free, though I don't really know. So, it performs great. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is low, medium settings, but in Call of Duty settings are kind of weird, but I have them on low/medium throughout the whole thing, no anti-aliasing, all that stuff. And, I mean, we're hitting 100 FPS. The average was around high 70s, low 80s, which is, for a couple-year-old card, aka an RX 480, that's pretty insane. And this card is great. So, I mean, if you can find a good deal, and like I said, I've seen these as low as $60 used, this card can run Warzone, and at a pretty decent FPS. This was a smooth gaming experience. FPS and frame times were great throughout the whole thing, and honestly, great experience. So, Warzone, 480, great card. Moving on. Alright, moving on quickly to Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, I started on high and medium settings just to kind of get a baseline. I knew the card wasn't going to perform amazing at, high and medium settings, but to my surprise, we're getting 60 FPS. We're getting high 50s, 60 FPS. It's alright. Now, I definitely wouldn't recommend playing this game at medium/high on a 480 anyway. That's the point. So then we quickly turn down our settings to low and medium. So I then turned my settings down to the highest of the favor performance settings, and our FPS jumped up by 20. We're getting 80 FPS average in the game on Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a terribly optimized game for PC. On an RX 480, and it's obviously at 100% usage most of the time, to get 80 FPS is pretty good. So obviously I just ran around, and you can see I'm looking around, going to the bar, do all the shooting stuff I do in every single benchmark for this game, and we're getting 80 FPS. That is impressive. And this card has definitely exceeded my expectations in multiple ways, and I'm very happy to recommend this card for Red Dead Redemption and or Warzone as of right now. But without that, let's move on to our next game.
Why don't you all
Alright, next game we moved on to Far Cry 5, and as you can see, I completely messed up the recording, and it looks bad, and it's super zoomed in on the left side, but at very least you can see the numbers, and that's all that matters, right? So we started off on all high settings, and, 60 FPS. Basically, we kind of have a general theme of high settings, just 60 FPS. The card struggles, but it gets 60 FPS. So I switched it down to medium, and we quickly jumped up to 70, 80 FPS. So we're definitely doing good here. I mean, the card is fine. The card is fine for Far Cry 5. Now, if you're not as dumb as me, you could probably record the game and not make it look completely stupid like I did, but that's besides the point. The card works in Far Cry 5. So in order to get rid of this stupid recording, let's move on to the next game. Alright, final game. We always do GTA 5, because as long as Rockstar's gonna drag its dead body through the dirt, we're gonna keep testing it. So, 100 FPS. Lowest we get is about 80 to 100. It's pretty good. Then this is on maximum settings, so for an RX 480, that's pretty impressive. Maximum settings, 1080p, GTA 5. We're getting about 90, 100 FPS. Not bad at all. So I will leave you guys with GTA and a recommendation for this card. If you can find this card for no more than 80, maybe $90, if you know how to do some overclocking, you can overclock it to 580 speeds, which I definitely want to try in a future video. I'd say go for it. This is a great card for 80 bucks. 90 bucks max with a little overclock. I mean, I got it for 40, but you know the deal. It's a good card. It's a great card. I have to recommend it. So I'll leave you guys with whatever's left of GTA 5 if I haven't ended already, because I talked for too long. That is the point. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.